Introducing Passport Bros, your ultimate travel companion. Download the app for free and embark on a journey where your adventures not only become unforgettable memories, but also opportunities to earn. With Passport Bros, your travel content is more than just photos and videos. It's your ticket to a fully monetizable network of like-minded adventurers. Imagine making money from your travel stories. Post videos, share your experiences, and let the world be a part of your journey. But that's not all. Connect with travelers from around the globe, join co-ed groups, and make lasting friendships, perhaps even with foreign women who share your passion for exploration. And here's the best part. Store your earnings securely in your Passport Bros wallet. No hassle, no worries. Just seamless transactions wherever your travels take you. Looking for the best local experiences? Passport Bros has got you covered. Get personalized recommendations for tour guides, rentals, and the hottest clubs in town. Did we mention the app is absolutely free to download? That's right. Your passport to a world of adventure is just a click away. And here's the cherry on top. With Passport Bros, you can make money while exploring new places. Turn your passion for travel into a source of income, right from your mobile device. So what are you waiting for? Download Passport Bros now, share your journey, connect with fellow explorers, and let the adventure begin.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
All right, family, we are live. Welcome to another show. It is your man BMT in the building, and we got a very important topic for you guys today, man. I had a great conversation with a good friend of mine, a fellow YouTuber who's been all around the world, and we were discussing the situation going on in Kenya as far as not necessarily Black Americans versus Kenyans or anything like that, but some of the videos and reactions to what happened with the J. Rello situation, out there in Kenya. Then, currently, the women making a whole bunch of videos about the guy who married the Kenyan woman, had a child with a Kenyan woman. I actually contacted him for an interview, but he declined to come on. That's totally understandable. But so it's been a lot of back and forth. A lot of Kenyans are watching the shows now and everything like that. So with that dialogue, we started discussing, like the social politics of actually being in a very unique situation, being Black American, right? And we were just kind of comparing each other's experiences. And I realized I was just like, damn, that is a really unique situation to be in, because there are high levels of colorism overseas. Let's just be honest, right? But there are also high levels of popularity being American, not only American, but Black American. So on one side, you're coming from a very popular culture on top of being from a very powerful country with a very powerful currency. But on the flip side, you Black. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it, man. It's a very interesting dynamic. All right. And I might do a panel. We'll see if we do a panel, we'll see how this goes. All right, guys, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button for your boy. All right, when you come in the room, let me know if I'm coming through loud and clear. I've been having some audio issues as of late, but I think I fixed everything. So if I'm coming through loud and clear, do me a favor, hit a 1 if everything's good with the audio, and we're going to get this party started. Welcome everybody to the room. We are in here, man. This is going to be a very good topic. You know what, man? I'm thinking about it. Now I'm thinking about it. And let me know if the stream is coming through, because I'm not hooked into the landline or I'm not hooked up. I'm not hooked up to the wall. So if my stream is coming through, also press 1. If everything is coming through nice and crispy, okay. But yeah, I might do a panel, man, because this is why I do interviews. This is why, because the interview gets straight to the point, right? And it's very broad coverage. We just don't interview guys about Thailand, but you got guys that've been to 65 countries, 100 countries, 20 countries, 30 countries. And we really want to know their experiences. And what I recognize about the interviews is that everybody's experience is going to be vastly different, number one. All right. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you know, people are going to internalize things differently. Because on one hand, I interview a guy, shout out to my man James, you know what I'm saying? I interview him and he'll say, hey man, it's racist. Here, they're prejudice. Here, they're prejudice. Here. But I interview my other guy and he'll be like, oh, I didn't feel any of that. So sometimes it's about how we internalize things too, because sometimes people just are rude. That's one of the first things I had to learn being overseas. I had to learn that, you know, Americans, we give each other space. In some countries, they don't necessarily give you the right to your space. They'll be up on you like this. And that's perfectly normal. I had to learn that. All right. I also had to learn little things like not slamming the door in Colombia. That's a big thing. What else is there? In Brazil, sometimes people would see you and just get in front of you in line. I know that seems like a small thing, but it really is when you think about it, especially coming from where we come from. People don't jump in line. That's like extremely rude, and it'll cause a situation, right? When somebody steps in front of you, when you're sitting there, you got your Skittles or whatnot, and you in line or whatnot, or you at. I think what happened to me, I was at Clara in Baja da Juca. I'm in line, and people just they jumped me. They just got right in front of me, and I was just like, "Excuse me," you know what I'm saying? I forgot what I said in Portuguese, but I'm like, "Wait, and then they were older. Granted, they were older, but it does. See, in our culture, that doesn't matter if you're older or not. Somebody jumps you, right?" And I just say we talked about it. It wasn't no big thing or anything like that. But of course, I spoke up on about it, and they kind of like got back behind me. But then I realized it's kind of a respect thing, or age thing as well, because we automatically go to race. That's our first. We're gonna go seeing what we've been through in our own country. So we just like, hey man, hold up, you know what I'm saying? And that happened to me quite a few times in Brazil. All right, you gotta say one. Okay, they can come through loud and clear. And the logistics and the businesses. Let's go, BMT. Let's go. Guys, do me a favor, make sure you hit the like. But this is actually a really important. I'm gonna play a couple of videos, right? It's gonna kind of like blow your minds a little bit. You're gonna be like, what the hell? So this is actually a pretty important topic. All right. My man, in Thailand says, what's good, BMT? I'm in Bang Siam right now. 1 hour from Pattaya. I hope you're enjoying it out there, brother. I hope you're enjoying it out there. Ty Nash says, this is a good topic. Hope they cover a lot of give examples and personal experiences. Yes, I will. I just gave a personal experience. Them people be all in your space, but to gut with both hands on their hips, waiting crazy. I guess you've been to Brazil. Liz says, definitely race, not colorism. All right. Okay. So let me play this record. I want to play this real quick while we wait on a few more people to come in the room. All right. Have you guys been seeing this right here? Have you guys been seeing this? Hold on. Let me play this. I know you've been seeing this on Instagram. Let me read this comment real quick. If you're white from Romania, you would be treated well in India, but Black American, you're not. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that. I'm glad you said that. Because we're definitely going to talk about that. But have you guys been seeing these interviews lately? Right. And I always think these interviews are a little cringe, like to walk up to people and ask them what their personal dating preference is. Because first of all, if you know women, preferences definitely change. Okay. So to me, it's like, okay, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like people preferences change. You got people that date exclusively in their own culture and race in their early 20s or 30s. They flip the script, you know what I'm saying? And they go, jungle fever mode in their 40s and 50s or vice versa. I'm like, so to me, it's just like, it's like somebody asking you, Do you like prunes, apples, and oranges? And you might say, yeah, I like, or I don't like it. But your taste buds change as you get older. You can tell me I would ever like chicken liver, but I do now. You can never tell me I would like things like what I used to hate back in the day. I think it was like cranberry sauce or what was it? Just like foods that because we like sugar. I'm the '80s baby, so we like snacks and sugar. But if you got grandparents, you grew up with your grandparents, you eating, soul food basically most of the day. You eating mac and cheese and butter biscuits with snacks. You know what I'm saying? So your taste buds change. But let me play this real quick.
No, unfortunately, no.
And why is that?
No black guys in Estonia.
Okay, so this is Estonia. So it's been going around, even in America, and there's so many clips. I only got this one, but it's been going around where it used to be, hey, would you date a white guy? Would you date a black guy? Would you date a Latina guy? Which is your preference? It used to be that. But now I'm seeing it specifically, it's, do you like black guys? It's kind of cringe. It's just like, why you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we always on topic? Like, goddamn. No matter what, we are always on topic, bro. Let me play this clip. Hold on.
Ever dated a black guy?
No, unfortunately, no.
And why is that?
No black guys in Estonia.
Oh, okay. Would you date a black guy?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. What are your thoughts on black guys?
To be honest, just a week ago, I met the first black guy.
Yeah.
He was such a nice person, such a cute person, and he danced like really good.
Yeah.
So.
You think they're really good dancers?
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Okay, cool. And if you had to have a preference, would you prefer to date a black guy rather than a white guy?
I don't think it's about the looks. I think it's about what's inside that counts, not like what color you are.
Definitely. And
if you don't know that look right there, I mean, we know that look. That's the kind of like that low key passive aggressive look.
any other thoughts on black guys?
God damn! Like, give it a rest. She already answered your question, bro.
They're amazing. Please come to Estonia, Tallinn. Like, fuck.
All right. Okay. So, and I couldn't find this other clip that I saw. I looked for this other clip, and I think this was in America. And it was a white guy asking two white women, and he was like racist. He was like, "What about?" He was just saying a whole bunch of stats, and he was trying to be like a Charlie Kirk or some shit, basically. And the white women, they were just like, "Oh, whatever." Yeah, like he's like, "Well, how's that true or not?" Like they was debating his stats. But in my head, I'm just sitting here like, why are we so, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are they so insecure about that? Like, why are we so, it's as if that every black man likes to date outside their race in the first place. Like, we're always, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're always on topic, no matter what. It's always, I don't give a damn. We could be nothing near the subject at hand, that will come up. Let me catch a super chat in a minute. All right. Shout out my man Green Beans for $4.99 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. He says, evening BMT, hope all is well. Sent you something on Instagram. I would definitely check it out after the show, brother, and I appreciate the super chat. All right. Yeah, they always, bro. Yeah, it is cringe. Because, okay, at first, you're like, okay. But it's just so much. Like I said before, it's so many interviews like this. At one point, they was asking women their racial preferences, and that was cool, right? Because you got to balance. And if a woman says she don't date black guys, it's fine, bro. We don't, like I say, any man that has experiences with women know that 9 times out of 10, whatever comes out their mouth at that particular time is not concrete. Any woman would tell you, hey, I want a man 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 pack. Look at her baby daddy. Baby daddy, 5'8", beer belly, right? In and out of jail, in and out of prison. Haven't had a job since the late 90s at Walmart or something. So what they tell you, like, you got to take anything they tell you with a grain of salt, because they're telling you what they feel at that exact moment. And when it comes to sexual preferences, basically, or dating preferences, those 100% change, bro. And you got to know that. But for whatever reason, they are very triggered. Drew says, BMT, I think these content creators are copying black content creators that often ask that question. I I've seen a balance, Drew. I've seen the actual balance of, you know, black and white and Latino content creators asking that question. I think if that's in Spanish, is that Eos Iaca, Spain? They are obsessed with our physicality and natural swag and our manhood. All right, Chad the Great says, from talking to a lot of YT women, they say white dudes have power and ego issues. They said that they like black guys because they're naturally vibe, masculine, and chill. All right. Like I said before, you know, dating preferences are dating preferences, man. I think at some point, whether male or female, everybody wants something a little different. You know, especially if they in a what's the word I want to use, family? Homogenous, or, you know, the society where it's just all one ethnic group. If they coming from a society where it's all one ethnic group, you know, it's just in somebody's nature, whether male or female, to want to try something different. It's just like trying a different flavor. All right. And that's what you got to understand. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to marry you or anything, or, you know, be in a long-term relationship. Although in most cases, coming from the male side, the women do want to be in long-term relationships overseas. People just hook up, man. It is what it is. What up, Kenny Peoples? What's good? What's good? All right, I want to show you guys something else. This is hold on. I want to play this right here. This is crazy right here, man. So we've been doing a lot of content on Africa and, you know, preferably Kenya. We've been going back and forth. We've been having some really good shows as of late. Shout out to my Kenyans and everything. We've been we had a Kenyan woman come in on the channel. We had a Kenyan, I guess you want to call him Kenyan American. So we've been having some good conversations. So this right here was shared to me by someone.
We need French instead.
And he was just saying how he was just trying to show me that it's not necessarily that they don't like Black Americans per se. They actually, they actually admire, Black Americans to a certain degree. He was just trying to explain to me that he was like, bro, we got so much shit going on in Africa, these countries, where people are trying to vie for a position within, the Western system. So I think this guy right here is running for president, and they was roasting him in the comment section. It was hilarious, bro. But check out what this guy says in the comment section real quick.
As our national language, we shall ban it. We need French instead. French has a wider coverage. Burundi, they speak French. Congo, they speak French. Rwanda, they speak French. Congo Brazzaville, they speak French. Gabon, they speak French. Central African Republic, they speak French. We don't need Swahili. We need English and French. We shall ban Swahili.
That is crazy, bro. He's talking about banning his own cultural language, bro. I think somebody in the comments said he's actually not from Uganda, but I think he's running for some type of he's running for president, basically. So I don't know how a non-Ugandan would run for president. Maybe the rules are a little different there. But yeah, it's a whole lot of little stuff going on in the motherland right now. When you talking about banning your own cultural language, banning. All right. We know that a lot of times it's not necessarily the official language, but damn, banning, bro. That's crazy. Hold on, let me play this one more time.
As our national language, we shall ban it. We need French instead. French has a wider coverage. Burundi, they speak French. Congo, they speak French. Rwanda, they speak French. Congo Brazzaville, they speak French. Gabon, they speak French. Central African Republic, they speak French. We don't need Swahili. We need English and French. We shall ban.
Okay, so that's, like I said, that's crazy, man. All right, so let me read this comment right here. We also have to understand, being Black and African descent, these men in non-Black countries fear genetic erasure is part of our DNA. So they mate guard. We see this among ethnic groups. Yeah, most definitely. When it comes to mate guarding, I don't feel necessarily a certain type of way, because they mate guard even within their own ethnic group. They mate guard. It's like a lot of tribalism overseas too. So they might mate guard, just because you're from another part of Eastern Europe or something like that. So people make garden. We could be, you know, of course, as there's extremes of make garden, there's very, you know, harsh extremes. It can go up to the harshest to the lightest. You know, even in America, you know, let's say, you know, I had a family member that brought in, you know, basically Haitians into the family, got married in. And I think there was a lightweight conversation at some point. We was just like, all right, they ain't really from, I mean, they from here, but they coming from a different culture. And, you know, you're gonna say some stereotypes like, hey, the Caribbeans know black magic. You sure they ain't put no spell on you or something like that? So that might be looked at as a form of mate garden. Somebody come from New York to Atlanta. And a girl, I remember back in the early 2000s, you had a whole bunch of New Yorkers coming down to Atlanta. And of course, the Atlanta guys were just like, because they know New York guys, they leave with their bread, they leave with their money. 90% of them, they leave with their bread, which is whatever. Do what works for you. You know, they were buying out women's houses and shit. And Detroit dudes from up north. So of course, you know, guys in the South, we didn't really hate on it. We just thought it was just simpish. We were just like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Like a dime a dozen out here, bro. Like you ain't in Brooklyn no more, dude. Like these women are a dime a dozen out here. You know, the ratio is just 12-1 out here at the time. But that could be seen as a lightweight mate guard as well. Said them folks paying him props. He said this nigga is a puppet. Yeah, you got a lot of puppets. Exactly, within ethnicity, religion, and race. Yeah, people will mate guard, bro. Like I say, I don't take mate guarding personally to a certain degree. I would, to be honest with you, I wish our culture mate guarded a little harder. To be honest, in all honesty, all right. We know we don't mate guard at all for the most part, especially harshly, you know. But in some cases, you have women regretting, especially nowadays, they're regretting marrying outside their race because of all the racial thing that's going on in the United States right now. Shout out my man CC in the building. So, yep, it's mate guard based on regions too, even class. Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. So me and a friend of mine, like I say, I think I've been to about 11 countries thus far. I've been overseas for 5 years. And, you know, my friend just got back from, you know, a world tour or whatnot, did like 20-something countries. And we were just having this conversation about Kenya and about the Jay Rello situation. And we were just kind of like, it was mind-boggling to us, the fact that one person could generate so much pushback on a whole group of people. Like, of course, that's not fair. But we was like, why, when one person out of our group, one person, one individual does something negative, why do all of us get hit with it? You know what I'm saying? Like the whole group, when 98% of black men that's traveling don't really cause any issues. We're very respectful. You know, we learned about the culture. You know, it's not too many clips of us doing anything too much out the way. But when something does happen on that rare event, it's like an impossible standard to live up to, is what I'm saying. Right? Because if you got a black dude that does some bullshit, right? You know, it won't even necessarily be the other ethnic groups that are, you know, demeaning our group. It'll be us. It's going to be us, right? When they say things like, you guys are going to ruin the country, you guys are ruin Thailand, you guys are going to ruin Colombia, you're going to ruin this. I'm like, what exactly are we going to ruin? When it's only like a small percent of us traveling in the first place. And most of the guys that are traveling, that are spending good amounts of time overseas in these other countries, usually have their shit together 9 times out of 10. And if they didn't, let's say you got guys on some hood, pookie shit, whatever, bro. That's them. That's not all of us. You know, and we got to figure out how we can fix that over time, in my opinion. We got to definitely figure out how we can fix that over time, because it's an impossible standard to live up to, in my opinion. It's impossible. We're not a monolith. You know, you're going to have some dudes that are going to travel. They're going to be on some pookie shit. That's just what it is. But that doesn't represent all of us. Liz says, Cortex, of course, mixed race people don't look non-black. Cortez says it's simple. BMT, Africans hate black men. I don't know if it's that simple, Cortez. Shout out to my man, 36 Mafia. Ethnic reputation. Okay. You do have ethnic groups with a bad reputation, especially here in Thailand. You know, they talked about restricting visas for certain ethnic groups. They don't play out here. Like they will, you know, if you act up too much, like they do the motorcycle racing at night. You know, it's a specific group, Middle Eastern group. I think it's the Kuwaitis. I forgot the actual Israelis. One of the Middle Eastern groups that do street racing at night out here in Pattaya. They just like, hey, hold the hell up. You know, we'll restrict all y'all passports or some shit like that. So you do have that, you know. Right. A tiny minority of black men overseas, mostly military and expats. All right, we almost got 100 in the room, guys. Go ahead, do me a favor, hit that like button. Let me play this video in a second. A lot of people don't have critical thinking or how to think for themselves, so they believe everything they see on TikTok, Instagram, and TV. Very true. Shout out my man Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson, global push in the building. All right. All right, so I'm gonna play this video. You guys are going to be shocked. I was trying to wait till a few more people come in the room, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. You guys, check this video out, and we're gonna speak on it on the back end because I was always wondering, what is it like? What's this? I'm not gonna call it aggression. It's not aggression, but when you out here, if you paying attention, because some guys just don't have no street sense, you know. But if you paying attention, you will get a lot of passive aggressive behavior, specifically from Indians. All right, maybe from some Europeans too, but specifically, I can generally say in most situations, outside of them asking you for to come in they business or solicit you, I would say there's a lot of passive aggressiveness with the Indians and black people, basically, specifically Black Americans. I would say that more so. All right. So I'm gonna play this video because I always wondered about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this video real quick. This right here explains a whole lot. I wish I could make it bigger, but just check this out. Hopefully you guys can see it. This is hilarious.
Congratulations, it's a boy. But, brown number.
80! हे भगवान
अब क्या करेंगे?
My God! Why?
What is a brown number? Let's find out.
My brown number. 18.
Now I look like number 25, na? No? Now? No. Brown number 18 is from the north and number 80 is from the south.
That's why I never go to the south.
Will you be my girlfriend? No. Because my brown number is 70, isn't it?
See, till brown number 40 you can trust, but after that, very dangerous.
20, 25, 30.
Oh God, look, 64. No wife, no job, all because of this. God, please change my brown number to 35.
Have you ever seen a fair beggar?
Yo, this part had me rolling, bro. Look at the little black Indian with a little afro. Look.
80, 18.
At least 42.
20? Not 30? Not 40? India, Africa, America.
Namaste. Ta-da.
So white.
All right. All right, bro. We got the man with the snagger tooth, the little woolly hat, the little black man hat shit. Y'all see that? Let me know if y'all saw that in the chat. We got 87 in the room, guys. Do me a favor. Let me check out John Cubbins, man. That shit is hilarious. Hold on. Did y'all hear it? Did y'all see it? Did y'all see the video? That is hilarious, family. All right. So seeing how that's the programming over there, you know, here you come, black man, you know what I'm saying? Here you come, you know, you come in there with your chest out, your head up high, proud, you know, the proudness of a culture. A lot of times you know, you're healthy. 9 times out of 10, you might be in shape. You might be tall, you know, whatever. You know, you disrupt the whole entire mindset, thinking of the way they've been programmed. And they really don't know how to deal with it, because not only are you black, but you're Black American at the end. That point at the end, the American at the end, it doesn't hold a lot of value inside the country, but outside the country, it's just like a perplex, because in their country, the people that maybe have your, and keep in mind, we're all different shapes. I mean, shades. We're all different, you know, complexions, light skin, dark skin, brown skin. Like, we know, we have a family. If you know, have a family with Black Americans, you know, you can have the mom be light skin, dad be dark skin, the kids be brown, light skin. Like, it's all over the place with us, right? So we don't even have a necessarily a color. It's a little colorism in our culture, but for the most part, we don't really have that complex, right? But here you go, and you just disrupt their social programming so harshly that it makes them uncomfortable, right? It 100% makes it uncomfortable, because number one, you're black, right? You should be downtrodden. You should have your head down. You should be humble, but then you're American. So not only you're American, you coming from this popular, very masculine, very bold, very, you know what I'm saying? You coming from a certain type of culture that's very loud, bold, strong to a certain degree. They all know about the athletes, the boxers, the fight. Like, they know, bro. They are very well aware. They're well aware. And it disrupts their thinking to a certain degree, because in their head, they're like, okay, this dude should be, you black. You ain't nothing. You a nobody. But at the same time, it's like, damn, well, wait a minute. You know? Let me read some of these comments in there. I thought this shit was hilarious. He said, I thought this shit was funny as hell to me. To me, I was dying laughing personally. Yep. 1,000 of years, nothing to do with white Europeans, but the Brits came, they saw them as gods and got colonized for hundreds of years like slaves and praised them. Yeah, they did. Not only that, family, Bill Gates, his association out there, I don't want to get banned or anything, but I think it was through vaccines. He spread a lot of stuff out there. All right. That Bill Gates Foundation, they spread a lot of shit out there. They did. They were caught and everything. Nobody got arrested, anything. So that lets you know. Liz said, we Black Americans don't worship our oppressors. They celebrate their oppressor. Facts. Somebody said, none like any man in the dating scene. Right. So I thought that was real interesting. I'll drop a link if anybody wants to pull up, and maybe you can share your experiences, because it is. Hold up, damn, I just posted it too much stuff. It is very unique. It is very unique, bro. We like I said, we are in a unique situation. And I couldn't put my finger on it until I had a conversation yesterday with my guy who just finished traveling the world, 20-something countries. All right. There's a link in the chat. We got 100 in the room. Got to do me here to hit that like button before I bring on anybody in the panel. I want to give you guys an update on the Passport Bros app. All right. So we already had this feature installed, but we highlighted and we enabled the tip button for all the pay-in members. Right. So if you guys don't know, the app, a lot of guys will do recommendations of where they went overseas. It's the dopest thing in the world, basically. Your recommendations have value, whether it's the best bar, restaurant, hotel, or travel hack. Now you can kind of cash out. So basically, somebody will post some random spot. You know, when we travel, we just come across stuff. When I was in Brazil, I was coming across all types of stuff, like types of bars, restaurants, hangout spots, different types of Airbnb. Some places not even on Airbnb. I remember it was a island off of Barra da Tijuca. I forgot the name of the island, but it wasn't listed on Airbnb, and it was dope, bro. I mean, it was like on some stuff out of Miami Vice. It was about $500 a month or whatnot. You basically like a building on like an island. Your front yard is a big ass, I guess you want to say river or something, like little spots like that. And then the app guys would basically recommend these spots. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example real quick. All right. So this is my guy, Moscow, Russia at a nightclub. All right. He's in Moscow, Russia at a nightclub. And as you can see, it's a tip button right there. And guys who like appreciate the information, or it could be a motivational post. Like I said, I think one of our biggest posts is a guy traveling with his two boys. I think that garnered quite a bit of bread. And guys would just tip, just show some love for the information, man. All right. So these are tips going in and out. These are different guys just tipping each other. All right. $2 here, $5 here, stuff like that. Let me see if I got. Did I download that? Hold on. Let me see if I can show you somebody's. I don't want to put too much information up here. Hold on. And we'll get back to this show in a moment. I'm just waiting for everybody to kind of pull up. Nobody's pulled up yet in the back chat. So let me put this up real quick. Hold on. Let me show if I can see somebody's wallet account. And by the way, this goes straight to your PayPal. All right. So, yeah, that's somebody's account. I'm not going to show who account that is, but that's somebody's account. $32. You've never made $1 off of Facebook. Trust me. So if you're in the Facebook group, like I said, this is more of a privatized app community. These are the guys that are actually traveling the world. Okay. And you can benefit off of it. You can cash out a little check. All right. You can definitely cash out a little check. Now, we did put a paywall up to keep certain, riffraff out. I think it was $3.99. I think we pushed it up to $5 because we do have a lot of people joining the app. Let's just say that. Now, we can't be necessarily, the T app, just basically they can, technically speaking, that's a big ass. Hold on. Let me get that real quick. Hold on, family. But technically speaking, you can't, what's the word I want to say? Discriminate on the sex thing, but we try to keep it, all male community. Okay, so we definitely put the paywall up. Then you got a lot of people. You got different people that try to hack the app and all that bullshit. So it's important to have that paywall up. I think it's at $5 right now. All right. All right, give me a second, family. Hold on 1 second. Let me get something real quick. Give me 1 second. You guys go ahead and pile up in the room.
Your ultimate travel companion. Download the app for free and embark on a journey where your adventures not only become unforgettable memories, but also opportunities to earn. With Passport Bros, your travel content is more than just photos and videos. It's your ticket to a fully monetizable network of like-minded adventurers. Imagine making money from your travel stories. Post videos, share your experiences, and let the world be a part of your journey. But that's not all. Connect with travelers from around the globe, join co-ed groups, and make lasting friendships, perhaps even with foreign women who share your passion for exploration. And here's the best part. Store your earnings securely in your Passport Bros wallet. No hassle, no worries. Just seamless transactions wherever your travels take you. Looking for the best local experiences? Passport Bros has got you covered. Get personalized recommendations for tour guides, rentals, and the hottest clubs in town. Did we mention the app is absolutely free to download? That's right. Your passport to a world of adventure is just
Okay, we back, family. Sorry about that. We are back. Somebody main is hitting at the knocking on the door. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Chatter Great says, "Oh, CC said the Kenyan streams were good. Yeah, they were pretty good, man. They're pretty solid. They did pretty good views too. All right, Indian worship white people. That's how they got set up in Africa and the Caribbean. Even though white people starved them and let millions of them die. Yes, it's a crazy history they have in there. Really bad Stockholm syndrome. The dangerous part is they bring that colonized mindset to America. Excuse me, some Latinos and Asians as well. Yeah, it's extreme Stockholm syndrome. Kevin just said I would try to post videos on the Passport app, but I'm told that they're too big. Yeah, you can't upload documentaries now. I think it's set at, I gotta ask my developer. I want to say 250 megabytes or something like that. But you can always compress your videos. There are apps that you can compress your video. Sometimes I compress my videos to put up on the app. All right. Said colorism is heavy in Brazil to the point that they don't care about your U.S. citizenship. Okay, so my experience in Brazil. My experience was very interesting in Brazil, bro, because I did go to Brazil. Me and my man, Child Versity, was in Colombia. We was just like, yeah, man, you know, Afro this, Afro that. And I did go out there. I was in Brazil for almost 11 months, almost close to a year. I wouldn't say that I experienced any colorism, but I did notice as far as dating, even though, you know, I would try to talk and date with some of the Afro-Brazilians out there, I would end up dating a Brazilian Japanese chick or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or just a white or Brazilian chick. It just seems like everything is pushed to mix, if that makes any sense. It's interesting. I would say that it's a very interesting, bro, like dynamic out there. It's interesting. I will say that. All right. Indians' complexities of colorism are also rooted in slavery during the early modern and colonial periods and includes practices ranging from agricultural slavery to military and domestic slavery. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, if you want to pull up on the panel, I'm going to drop a link again. If you want to pull up, we can have, because I want to know your guys' experiences. All right. I definitely want to know your guys' experiences. Like I said, we had a real good conversation. I told my man, I said, man, we should have did this online. You know, because you can line up like your different experiences and say, hey, man, this happened to me. But everybody's experience is going to be much different. Much, much different. All right. Like I said, I was in Medellin. Okay, so Medellin, Colombia, is more so about classism necessarily than colorism, I would say. Because I never felt a certain type of way when I went to any spots in Colombia. And I went to the coast, I went to Cartagena, Rio Hacha, all throughout Medellin. I never felt a certain way by going into a certain spot. Nobody ever looked at me sideways or anything. I was just American. I was a gringo. All right. But there are, like I said, there are classes, and they might not be. They know if you're there, if you can afford, not afford, but if you can walk into that spot in Poblado where they serving drinks for $10 or $7 or something, they know more or less you're probably going to be American. All right. But in Colombia, I honestly didn't feel any type of way, man. Any type of prejudice. I never felt it. I know. And I was in Colombia for 2 years, bro. And I felt like it was home. You know, you got to be careful in Colombia for sure, especially if you're gringo. You don't want to be speaking too loudly your English if you in a, you know, if you walking around a barrio or something like that. But other than that, man, I felt very comfortable in Colombia. More so in Colombia than Brazil. Liz says, being black in Brazil is poverty. That's why upper class restaurants don't have any black customers unless they're picking up food delivery. All right. That's why I say we're in a very unique position, man. You know, shout out to my man, J. Clyde in the building. You guys pull up, man. I got the link out there. I'll kick it for about 10 more minutes. If nobody don't pull up, though, we're going to be out. Been to 25 countries is mainly nationalism for me. Okay, El Monte. Mike says, I agree about Colombia. That's true. Yeah, like I said, I've never felt a certain way. I will say this, though. When I was dating a Venezuelan girl, you know, she was, you know, I wouldn't necessarily consider her to be white. I mean, she just looks like a Latina, basically. But I did notice that sometimes the taxi drivers would, get lost on purpose or make a roundabout way. So I did notice a little passiveness, little stuff like that. But for the most part, I didn't recognize anything out there, man. If anything, they'll be mad at the gringos for raising up the prices of the real estate out there. But other than that, I didn't feel a certain type of way. I would say Dominican Republic is very strange too, because they always trying to figure out if I'm Haitian or Dominican of Haitian descent or whatever they be saying. But I would say I had one incident that was interesting in the DR though. A couple of interesting instances actually. When I was living in San Domingo, I was in the front of my apartment, and it was this older Dominican couple, that either their phone wasn't working, they didn't have any service or something like that. So the girl that worked at the apartment, she was like, "Hey, can I use your phone to just call them an Uber and I'll pay this, cash for them?" And I'm like, "All right, cool, whatnot." So she, I gave her my phone. They're sitting right in front of me, and she did her little Uber thing, and we got in the Uber. The Uber pulls up. They didn't even look my way. They didn't say thank you or nothing like that. And I was just like, okay, and she kind of brushed it off too. But at the same time, just like, now to me, that's a you problem. That's just being rude. You know what I'm saying? You were stranded out here without me, but so is that what was that? All right. In history, Haitians have been weary of mixed race people like the Dominicans due to their close. I just talked about that, due to their closeness to the enslaver, and would unalive them, seeing them as spies. Okay. That's a complex thing out there in the DR, bro. I'll be honest with you, because sometimes I feel like it's all love in the DR. It's just a strange complex. Like dating a Dominican woman, you're dating a Dominican woman, and she said something about a Haitian. It's like you're like, okay, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, I look like I could go for Haitian. I look like Haitian, and she's like, no, you look more Dominican. I'm like, nah, I don't actually. I'm like, I don't, she's like, no, but they're like, and she would say hello. She'd try to clean it up a little bit, but it's very strange. It's very weird. It's very weird. She's like, no, it's okay. You would pass to be more Dominican. I'm like, man, the fuck kind of shit that is. All right. In most countries, people take advantage of tourists, where the scammers do, including taxi drivers. I don't know what it is, family, about taxi drivers, but they are the worst in every country I go to. I'm so glad they invented Bolt, Grab, Uber, rideshare apps. I'm so happy, man. Them taxi drivers, bro. I'm just sitting here like, listen, if the ride is $5, why would you try to charge $30? Like, it just makes like if for convenience, if you're in front of me, right? And the ride, I'm seeing the ride is $5, and you charge me even 10, I might consider it. But them taxis, bro, they just try to go over, because I know they got to go back to their location in some cases, so they got to double back, and that might be the reason why. Versus a ride share, they'll find you rides to work your way back to the house, and that's the difference. All right, I'm gonna drop a link. Okay, I got some. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't see y'all in there. Hold on, I didn't even see you guys in there. What's going on, Will? Chill with Will. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, man. Nice setup, bro.
Oh man, you know what, BMT, man, it's been a minute, bro. I finally retired out the military, and retired. Well, actually, I was already retired out the military, but I retired from my civilian job last year. So basically, I got that. So I'm living down in Colombia, but yeah, my man. I mean, you on point about how different nationalities, people look at themselves far as their ethnic groups or anything like that. So one of the things that I learned about Dominican Republic, which was really interesting, when I started going there, I started hearing from Dominicans, because I started learning a little bit of Spanish, and one of the things they were talking about is they were telling like the more I guess I would say the darker skinned Dominican Republic, females would be like, the old people would be like, hey, you need to, mess with the white guys. Like they need to purify I guess the race or something like that. And I guess, which is really interesting because it's not just there, it's actually all over the world as an extent from my traveling, from what I saw. It just depends on where you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just interesting to me, man. It's an interesting dynamic. But I think, like I say, somehow, some way, bro, still get it in though. especially with the younger ones. But yeah, the family preference in the DR, if they're Dominican, and the thing is, out of all the cultures that I've been, living around, it's like, and I don't speak Spanish fluently, but still, I feel like Dominicans are the closest to us. So when I date a Dominican woman, I can't even really see them dating an average white guy, right? I just can't see it because Dominicans are basically black people, and they're very rambunctious and what I'm saying, sexy with it. Like I don't see them a normal average, not to shout to my white guys, but I just don't see that culturally bonding well versus being with a Black American from Atlanta or something like that. Like Dominicans is black, bro. You know what I'm saying?
No. I mean,
like if any culture that's ghetto, I'm sorry, but it's definitely Dominican culture.
No, I mean you're exactly right, but also you have to look at it from this standpoint. So just given my experience of what I witnessed being in the military, is that I would see like white guys that wouldn't even mess with black women back in the United States, but when they were stationed overseas, oh bro, they was hitting all of black chicks up. And the same thing that I saw with one of my good friends is like a white guy, I ain't gonna call him out, but it's like he wouldn't mess with American black women, but he was going to the DR messing with the dark-skinned ones, and he was like, oh yeah, but they not no, you gonna love this. His thing was like, well, they not they not black. And I'm like looking at him like, damn dog. I'm like, okay, I mean, I understand they got some confusion going on, but you confused too. But I mean, it's kind of like the same thing that goes on in Egypt, right? So if you look at Egypt, far as being on the continent of Africa, Europe and America has painted that to be such like that, I guess, white ethnocentric behavior, and then they think they're better than the rest of Africa, even better than some of the other Arab nations, which is like really interesting. And if you go back into the 80s, well actually before that, back in the 70s, when you had Anwar Sadat, who was basically you and I complexion, if not darker, but the first president being dark skinned, and you ain't seen one. I ain't seen one since since then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's crazy. I'm looking at my man Punch Travel channel, and you can make a good point. I thought about I got you, Punch. I thought about a friend of mine who's actually black and Asian, and he's the most prejudiced motherfucker you ever meet in your life, right? I call him a tedder, right, to us all the time. But he goes to Brazil and he messes with nothing but black women in Brazil. But in the States, he be on some Trump shit. I'd be like, bro, you are just something else, man. But he might be listening. He actually one of the mods, so he might be listening. But shout out to my Tedder homeboy. What up, Punch Shot? What's good? What's good with you, my brother? Good to see you.
I'm cool, man. Maintaining. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's a good topic. I have to jump on. So my opinion is, I think nationality matters more than colorism.
Okay, I'm gonna explain because I'm gonna put that in the poll. By the way, go ahead.
Yeah, because a lot of countries overseas, brothers do get a lot of love, and it doesn't really matter the complexion. It could be ironic. The darker, it might be more exotic with a lot of different countries. But when a person say, hey, they're from America, it's like, okay, boom, that just shoots right up there. That's like a privileged status. So I think people get better treatment no matter what color they are, but they say they're from America. It like kind of pushed in front of the line a lot of times.
So you've been all throughout Spain, correct?
Yeah, different parts of Spain. Been to Spain, Berlin, Brazil, Morocco, Slovakia, Dominican Republic. So from what I've seen, when I say America, it's like, oh, okay, hey, this guy's from America. It's not, oh, he's dark skinned or light skinned. Is not from my experience.
So you're saying in your travels, you've never experienced any type of funny style or anything? It's just been all good.
Mostly good. Nothing serious. Occasional drunk person in Slovakia saw me on the bus. He was like, "Hey, Michael Jordan." This was years ago. And
they be doing that bullshit here too. Hey, you Michael Jordan. I'm like, bro, come on.
Yeah. Like some other actor that be on this. Everybody hates Chris, so people say that, but nothing because of my complexion. So I do get strange looks sometimes when I'm with somebody. People be breaking their neck. They look at it like I'm from outer space. One time I was in Paris with somebody, and it's like they're not used to seeing a brother in a suit and a Caucasian woman just sitting out at this cafe, this kind of fancy cafe. People, like say in the U.S., in New York, they would kind of be a little sly when they're looking, but folks were breaking their neck, like staring, like it seemed like it was so strange to them.
Hold on, where was you at?
In Paris, in this particular trip.
So Paris, I thought Paris was pretty liberal. They've been interracial dating for a long time.
That's what I thought as well, but I guess it was that particular street.
Hey, Punch, can I chime in real quick?
Yes,
so
please.
I lived in Europe for like 13 years, and one of the things that I noticed is that so you have a lot of Africans that migrate to Europe, and so what I experienced and what most people that were in the military experience or even civilians, until you actually spoke, they were like, okay, that's an American. And so you got treated instantly better because most of the Africans that came over to Europe, it wasn't that they were causing problems. It's just that they wasn't really in an abundance and they wasn't contributing to their economy like, Americans were. So they were looked at a lot different versus what you say us as Americans. Because when we travel, they just look at it like, oh, okay, this American is going to pay for everything on his own. He's not here to get a handout. He's not trying to, just get over or anything like that. So it was even like that, back in the 80s and 90s when Turkey, the Turkish people came over into Germany. So it was a really big, problem with the Turkish, with people from Africa, but of course, soldiers, they never had any problems or anything like that. I will say this. I will say that I think most of us can attest that I've gotten treated better in other countries by being a Afro-American than, or just an American. That's what they call it. They don't even say Afro-American. We're just American, man. It's nationality. That's all they care about. They don't look at you for like you black, you white. Because if you call a German white, they're gonna be like, I'm not white, I'm German. That's the thing in Germany. It's very nationalized in Germany. So it's just like when Germans come to America and people call them white, they get offended by that because that's even still they'll be like, look, I'm not Anglo-Saxon, bruh. I'd be like, damn, he just went hard in the paint with that one. Like, I'm not Anglo-Saxon. I was like, ooh, okay, he touched the nerve when he said that to that dude.
Yeah, I experienced that too, Will. When I was out here one time, and I started talking to this older white dude. I just assumed he was Russian because it's a Russian neighborhood, and I was like, hey man, you Russia? He was like, I'm not fucking Russian. He said Yugoslavian or something like that. He was just like, no, I'm not. I'm just like, damn, my bad, bro. Or I think the worst if you call a like a Japanese, a Chinese, or Chinese or Japanese, bro, they stop everything. They just like, I'm Japanese.
Or Korean,
like,
bro.
But okay. But at the same time, when like a Cambodian chick called me, I did it second nature. I didn't even think about it when she called me after or asked me why I was African. I was like, hell no, I'm Black American. So it's like a reaction. You don't even think about it. I didn't mean it to say it in that manner, but it's like when you call Black Americans African, you know, we're gonna say, hey, no, I'm not from Africa. You know, I know we say African American, but no, I'm not African. I don't know anything about Africa. I've never been there. My ancestors never been there, or my grandparents. You know what I'm saying? So I get why they say that the way they say it, because I did it too.
Yeah, I got educated on something when I was in Germany for a brief time. So some friends, so some Germans, they discriminate against other Europeans, like Eastern Europeans. If they know you're Eastern European, they're going to discriminate versus Western Europe. And I asked, well, how would they know where you're from? And oftentimes they could tell by the last name. They're like, oh, that's not a German last name. That's the Eastern European last name. So they could tell versus like a French last name or a British last name. So,
right.
Yeah, nationality plays a big role.
Yeah, but you know, as you were talking about, like in Germany, right? So also being, you know, being stationed there during the time when the wall came down, man, just to see how prejudiced they were against the East Germans, because, you know, these families got broken up after World War II. And, you know, a lot of them didn't get to, you know, basically see their families for like pretty much almost half a century, man, to be honest with you. I mean, it was a minute, man, because you got to figure they didn't see it's like after 1945, and they didn't see their family till like 1991. And then, you know, Germany's crime rate went up so significantly during that time, and they just blamed everything on the East Germans. So yeah, it was just really interesting how they were, you know, prejudiced against their own that looked just like them.
All right, so we did a poll: have you faced colorism overseas? And surprisingly, 46% says yes. I meant to put discrimination, but yeah, 46% means said yes. 54% said no. Guys, if you've been in a situation, do me a favor. You don't necessarily have to cam up, but pull up. I want to hear what the situation was. You know, let me drop a link one more time in the chat. I'm trying to think if I ever faced any type of damn, I'm trying to think. I cannot recall anything. Damn, can you guys recall? I mean, Punch, you just said, Will, you recall anything? Or
I look at it like this, man. The only thing I ever experienced was, my baby's mother, right? Her grandfather, he was in World War II, and his best friend got killed by an American. So he looked at all Americans as bad, you know, back in the 90s. He looked at all Americans as bad. Didn't matter whether you was black or white. But it's just like I think I was 30, and his I want to say his the granddaughter, the girl I was dating at the time, she was like 22. And the dude just went straight. He called me a kinderficker, man. So kinderficker, you know, in German, in English means he called me a kinderficker. I'm like, that shit grown ass woman. But then the mother explained it to me like, oh, my father is upset because he doesn't really like Americans, and so he really loves Christina. That's his, you know, his favorite grandchild. So now that she's with an American and stuff like that, but you know, this dude was actually trying to fight me at the house, man. So yeah, I mean, I just remember that stuff, man. He was trying to fight me at the house, and I just left, you know. But you know, they got the situation, you know, squared away. But I mean, it's just that it just depends on, you know, what they dealt with in the past and how they pulled up about what you say, the people. You know, it's like how they. It's just like how they. It just depends, man. I mean, a lot of times they don't. You know, Germans are very nationalistic. Like they don't go with the black, white. They don't say, "Oh, this is a black German" or "This is a white German." It's like in Germany, you one or two things. You either they said, "Du bist eine Deutsche" or "Du bist eine Ausländer." That's kind of I mean, because you know my kids are German, so I'm picking back up on my German a little bit. But yeah, man, that's kind of how they look at it. They don't look at you as just like, oh yeah, you're a black person. It's like you either one or the other, and that's what they're prejudiced against. Not so much as the colorism, but the nationalism.
That's a very interesting dynamic, seeing the history of what happened in World War II in Germany. And I've heard so many bros tell me how much love they get when they get to Germany. I just be like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh no, you get love. I mean, you go back there, right? You go over there now. I mean, like I said, it don't matter how tall you are, bro. I look at it like this: the darker you are, the better it is for you over in Germany.
Yeah, that's true.
That's crazy, bro. So wait a minute. I just got, because I've never really thought about this, because I hear this all the time, but y'all don't be worried about the whole Nazi Adolf Hitler thing or anything. Like it's no.
So I will say this. So only been there once and briefly. So I was kind of nervous going there. I was nervous. Like, hey, I'm in the airport. I'm the only black person in the whole airport. So and I'm riding the train with my friend, and I'm the only black person. But no, it's. I didn't feel threatened at all. I didn't feel like, okay, some neo-Nazi is going to come out and attack me. I did not feel that way. I even went to a Gestapo museum. They definitely document their history. So it's not like they sweep it under the rug and try to forget about it. Like, no, they're like, hey, this happened, and they're trying to move away from that.
So I heard that like you're not supposed to like mention it or something, like you don't bring it up in conversations.
True. Yeah.
I mean, it's like they talk about historical events. I mean, like I said, you got Auschwitz. I mean, the concentration camp. So to actually go to a concentration camp and understand what it is, I mean, why the Germans want to get away from it. I mean, so when you go and experience their culture, and then they really don't like that part of history. Even though they know what it is, they don't like that part of history. And they spent many years trying to rectify the wrong and stuff like that. And I mean, they paid a lot out to, what everybody, people can say what they want to say about America, but Germans pay a lot out to the Jewish community as well because of that fact, because there are a lot of, things that happen. So even like my family, not just my kids are German. I mean, I have German in my family because that's my mother's maiden name. Her great grandfather was German, so his name was Hess, which my grandmother, my grandfather Hess, my mother maiden name is Hess. So that's how I know a lot about Germany before I even went there. Like, okay, this is part of my heritage. So the thing is, they didn't, which was interesting. They had black people in Germany during that time, and they didn't have them problems like the Jewish people did, man, which was really interesting. And that's something that I tried to get a better understanding of, but I didn't want to push too much on that. But yeah, they actually had black people living in Germany during that time. I mean, look at Jesse Owens, man. I mean, when he went there, everybody talked about that, but look, man, he actually got to take a picture with Hitler. He got to shake the man's hand. Actually, he was happy to shake his hand and stuff. But, I mean, so it wasn't the fact everybody said, well, it was only because he was in the Olympics. No, man, he just looked at the people different, man. Even though most of the black people that lived in Germany were in a servitude manner, that's probably one of the reasons why they didn't get messed with, even though it was a really small number of them, but still they were there during that time.
Yeah.
That's
Germany, it is a diverse country, especially Berlin. They really do try to promote people from different cultures and countries, ethnicities. They do go there, and it is celebrated, their diversity.
Okay.
A person wouldn't think so, but they do encourage diversity.
Okay, let me bring this guy on real quick. Flex, you hadn't cammed up, man, but what do you got to say? Let me make sure you ain't no troll or something.
Hey, what's going on, BMT?
Okay, what's good, Flex?
Yeah,
I gotta be careful, man, when you don't cam up, bro. Dudes be wilding out. They be showing up butt naked and shit. Make sure
I understand.
Oh, I had that happen one time. Dude showed up butt ass naked on my show. Cut the whole show off. We're good, bro. Oh,
Great.
Wow,
Yeah,
bananas,
a lot of brothers say that there's no colorism or racism in Medellin, but for me personally, I think Medellin was probably the worst.
Wow, what happened, bro?
Wow. Okay.
So, I remember I was walking through Parquilleras my very first time in Provenza area, and you could tell the vibe. Like a lot of the girls, they'll try to avoid making eye contact or even turn their back. A lot of the taxi drivers you walk by, they will like turn their back towards you. And I remember I was walking down the street. There's I think it was a bar, and the girl saw me walking towards her, and she ran into the restaurant. As soon as I walked past, she came right back out.
Hold on, Flex. So you one of them Jason looking type, Freddy Krueger type of motherfuckers?
Nah, bro.
Bro. I've never had that experience.
Hey, Flex, I ain't trying to put anything on that, man, but that's the first I ever heard of any brother having a problem, considering like they the third largest country outside of Africa with African descent people. That's the reason why I think BMT said what he said. Yeah. Go ahead,
well,
I didn't interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, a lot of the like my entire life, a lot of women have said, "Hey, you're handsome. I have no issues with that." Fresh haircut. Whenever I go to Medellin, I have like the VIP, professional like celebrity cut my hair, so I'm looking pretty decent for a black man. 6'1". But as I'm walking, I can tell you, I was dating an Afro Latina girl also, and she also like, I think a lot of people are in denial or they're not very self-aware of their environment. But, I've been in discussions with some Latinas that say, hey, a lot of the white Colombians are two-faced. A lot of them are in denial about it.
Let me tell you something, bro. Hey, people are two-faced in general, especially black folk. Black folk. Hey, bro, I've had bros walk up to me. Hey, what up, BMT? Just that and the other BMT. Yeah, man. I love your show and everything. And I hear him on the stream say, yeah, I met BMT. I wasn't too impressed. I'm like, what? Damn. I'm like, what? First of all, I'm not trying to impress you, bro. Like, one dude said, he was like, yeah, I ran to BMT and Traversity in Colombia. I wasn't too impressed. I'm like, nigga, what? Like, what? So people two-faced regardless, bro. Just stay
damn.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think a lot of brothers are ignoring the stuff that happens just because they want to get with the white Latinas at any cost. But yeah, I mean, I've heard stories of like guys who were I heard a story of a black American guy who was a gym trainer. He invited all the trainers to his birthday party. Nobody showed up. You know what I'm saying? Nobody showed up.
Hold on, bro. Hey, all right.
Real talk.
Hold on, Flex. Everything isn't necessarily. Sometimes you can just. I'm not saying I don't know this guy, but I'm just saying sometimes people just don't fuck with you because of you. Like I can't say that's necessarily because that man black. Because I've had hella parties in Medellin and everybody showed up. All right, so I don't know.
They love showing up the parties.
They will show up. You get a bottle of aguardiente and some greenery. They gonna be there. So I don't know, bro. Like Colombians is pretty cool from my experience.
Y'all never had.
You know what? Okay, brothers? I'm trying to think. When I was in Rio Hacha, man, they were bad in Rio Hacha too. Y'all got Rio Hacha's a little dangerous, guys. But when I was out there at the airport, I saw like I guess Afro Latinas and everything like that, Afro people, and I didn't feel a certain way. But the driver told me that, hey man, if you're a foreigner, they're gonna try to rob you. So I think sometimes it's more based on just being a gringo out there too.
And Flex, I'm gonna say this, man. I mean, I don't know your style. I don't know how you dress abroad, but I will say that in Colombia, everything's about presentation. I'm like me. I'm in the process of buying a house right now in Barranquilla, and it's just like
shout out to Barranquilla, man. That's my first
yeah,
Colombian girlfriend.
we're gonna talk about that, DOT. But the thing is, right? One of the things that so when you start buying a house, and in Colombia, if you're American, you paying cash. You're not getting no financing. So when they look at how much money you dropping, they look at you totally different. And so I started meeting like people outside the process of buying a house, like literally not trying to like just get with me and get over. Like I started meeting millionaire Colombian females because of this. And so it really depends on how you carry yourself, how you speak. And then it's just like, I mean, these women, they have like education. Okay, I'm an engineer. I mean, I'm retired. So they looking at, because they looking at all my stuff. They're like, oh, okay, you got your stuff together. And also I'm talking Spanish. So, even though my Spanish, I'm at like 65%, but 65% makes you dangerous. So I think that it really has a lot to do with your presentation. In Medellin, if they see a brother with shorts, or not, I mean, I've been with Colombians, they see a brother with shorts, sandals, a t-shirt on, bro, they be talking shit. I mean, they be like, damn, do they not know how to dress? Do they not know how to carry themselves? They're like, Will, it's like, you don't dress like that. You always presentable. It's like, what's wrong with them? And then they go up and then most of the guys, and not all of them, but a lot of guys will go up to females while they're on their job and ask them if they propagos or how much. So it's just like they get a bad representation, and then they look at every black man like that that's dressed like that. They're like, yeah, it was a guy that was dressed like this. So that's one thing. So it's not always about the colorism. It's about, how you present yourself for the Colombians. Because the thing is, if you look at those Afro-Colombians, you don't see them dudes in those shorts and flip-flops, man. Them guys them guys have on a clean t-shirt, some clean jeans, or they dress nice, or they got some Oxford shoes on. I mean, that's just how they are, man. It's just that they carry themselves in a more mannerable way. A lot of Americans, I mean, I seen it myself, man. I seen taxi. I'm in the taxi. Look, they're going one of your American buddies. I'm not, ain't my buddy. But that's they like point them out, bro. Just based off of how they, I'm just telling you from what my experience is, because I speak Spanish. And when I hear them talk like that, man, it's just like, it is not the fact of colorism. I don't really think it's that. It's the way people are presenting themselves.
I mean, with the presentation,
did you experience anything else outside of like that little stuff?
Well, from what I noticed is that it's just subtle. It's just subtle. They're really subtle with it, and there's a level of jealousy there also.
I can believe the jealousy part.
Subtle.
Well, my ex girlfriend, who was American Colombian, she grew up in America. She will always say that the Colombians are jealous of them too. She was like, "Yo, they are mad jealous of us because we have a little accent. We coming from America. They think we all that." So that even goes for just being American in general, not necessarily because you're black.
Now, I think for me personally, I think it's because you're black and you have money. So it's level of jealousy there, and it might be an undertone of a little of colorism or racism underneath that. But they're really subtle with it, turning their back, not making eye contact, trying to, just real subtle with it. Jealousy is definitely there. Even with the taxi drivers, my girlfriend, my Colombian girlfriend, Afro-Colombian, she's like, oh, there's no racism. But every single time we got into an Uber, and maybe the Uber had to drop her somewhere, the Uber, she's having the Uber driver, he didn't want to take me here. He dropped me off at another location. He didn't want to, take me all the way to the exact pinpoint. It's always some issue, but she'll always just, say it's something else. It's something else. It's something else. So I don't know what it is, but there's something there. I think it's, like I said, some jealousy, with some colorism, some racism mixed in, but they're really subtle with it. So I think a lot of brothers maybe just push it aside because they want to get with the white Latinas, but I think that's just what it is.
Why would they push that aside? They get with the white Latinas.
They really want to get with the white Latinas, so they'll ignore stuff. Personally, that's what I think.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll ignore anything like that, bro, just to get with a so-called white Latina.
Definitely, I think so.
May I say something here?
Okay. You didn't really give us any type of concrete though. Like you gave us some little small little social deals that can happen anywhere. Like taxis are assholes everywhere, bro.
Okay, I got another one. Okay, I got another one for you. All right, I'm in Provenza at a restaurant. I asked one of the restaurant I asked somebody in the restaurant, hey, where's one of the waiters? Hey, where's the bathroom at? He takes me to the restroom because there's not really a sign there. He takes me to the women's restroom. I walk in the women's restroom and they're like, oh no, you're in the you're in the wrong restroom. So it's like slight, like they're real slick with it. They do dumb stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Say that one more time. You went to the restroom. What you trying to say? It's a white. You say Latino only restroom or something? I don't get it.
Nah, it's the signs for the men and women's restroom wasn't really visible. So I was like, hey, where's the restroom? So I asked one of the waiters, hey, where's the restroom at? He directed me to the women's restroom instead of the men's restroom. So they're real slick with it. They're real slick with their disrespect.
But bro, hold on. Like even that is like okay.
When you combine
could that be because you're a gringo though?
Nah.
So because you black, the waiter is like, I'm gonna send him to the women's restroom. Got it.
It's black. It's you're black and you're black and you're a gringo. So you're black and you got money. So they're definitely jealous, right?
So
a lot of the black Colombians aren't on the social economics.
Punch, I know you wanted to say something. What you want to say, Punch?
Yeah. So it's something kind of along the line of what he's saying, but in a different country, in Barcelona. So, like with a lot of people, there are Africans living in Barcelona, working in Barcelona. Some are hustling; they're on the street. So when some Europeans see like a dark-skinned male in shorthand in their mind, they're gonna, oh, that's a guy working on the street. That's a guy hustling. Because some of the guys selling stuff on the street, they're dressed a certain way. They got the tight pants, colorful sneakers. That's how they tend to dress. So a white person might look and say, "Oh, that's probably an immigrant," in shorthand. But if they hear a person speak or a person dressed differently, they're gonna pause a little bit and like, "Oh, that's probably not a African person, probably from someplace else." So that's where a little bit of colorism can come into play. It's like they'll just look and assume. Because in that part of the world, there's a lot of Africans that are there more than North Americans.
Yeah, there is a YouTuber who's also in the space. He's dark-skinned. They denied him entry into a restaurant, right? I think it was in it might have been Provenza. Yeah, they denied him entry. So there's people they've mentioned these things before, but I mean, I guess nobody's paying attention to it.
I've never been denied anywhere in Provenza, bro. I'm not. That's just hard for me to believe, bro. Provenza, like
I'm not sure if it was exactly Provenza.
It's an open air restaurant. You just walk in, like it ain't like you got it.
Nah, I think it was a high end restaurant, but yeah. Well, yeah, I think his name was Black Man Travels. Bro, like, I think it's Black Man Travels. There's another YouTuber named Black Man Travels. Him.
Oh, you talking about Cano, the Haitian guy?
Yeah, he's like I think he's he's dark skinned.
I'm gonna email him, man. I gotta email him.
He himself said he was denied going into a restaurant in Colombia. I'm not sure if it was Provenza or not.
It couldn't have been Provenza. I doubt.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah, because they like to make money.
Yeah, that's a main tourist area right there, bro. Shout out my man Daryl with the 10. I think that's Qatar. Maybe I'm not sure with the key. You always overseas somewhere, bro. But yeah, I appreciate it. What about colorism in Africa? We've been talking about that loosely. Colorism in Africa. I know South Africa. My boy was telling me something about South Africa with the quote unquote colors. I don't know. Have y'all been through Africa experiencing colorism? How you gonna have colorism in Africa? I'm confused. I think it's more tribalism there, right? Appreciate your super chat there.
I mean, you got colorism if you think about what goes on in South Africa with how they still treat some of the South Africans that are black.
Yeah, the only place in Africa I've been to was Morocco, and I didn't experience much colorism. It was more, hey, this guy's an American, and the people are very, 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 very hospitable in Morocco.
I always wondered about them North African countries, man. So I interviewed a guy, and he said he really enjoyed going through North Africa. But then you got the sisters that got kidnapped and drugged out there in Tunisia. I don't know how far that is from Morocco, but I always never, people don't really speak too much about the North African countries like that.
Hey, when you were in Morocco, did you get a chance to go to Ibiza?
I went to Ibiza on a different trip. I was just in Ibiza very shortly.
Well, yeah, because it's really close. I mean, I got to go there when I was in Germany. That's the reason why I was like, oh, okay, yeah, my man, he definitely been around. And I mean, yeah, you go to Ibiza, ain't no colorism in Ibiza.
Yeah, it's nice out there. It's nice.
I don't know, man. Well, you've been in Medellin for quite some. You in Medellin, right?
Yeah, I live in Medellin. Got a visa and everything. I've
okay,
been coming.
So have you experienced any form or anything that you've noticed? Because I know I ain't noticed shit into you. I'm not trying to set you up or anything, but
no, you're fine. I mean, the whole thing is I've not ever experienced any of that in any country that I ever visited. Even when I went to Russia, I didn't have any problems when I went there. The only difference I had with Russia is, and it was only because I was in the military at the time, and I was trying to talk to this Russian colonel, but the thing is, they don't talk to enlisted. That's the whole thing. They only talk to the officer part, and so I get that. But far as being discriminated against or whatever, I mean, I've gotten treated well. I mean, even in Colombia, I get treated well. And even if you're not spending money, I mean, just because, you speak the language and, they like, oh, where are you from? And, I've never had any problems. I get invited to a lot of events, whether they, Afro-Colombians or, white Colombians, So, yeah, I mean, I don't ever have that problem. I mean, I get it, Flex, I'm sorry you had that experience, but I've not ever heard of anybody saying that they had a problem in Medellin. That's why I was kind of shocked, because they're used to, a lot of black people coming there. Hell, it's like when you go, I remember one time I was coming into Medellin and just in the airport alone, man, it looked like 80% of the people in line was black. So
let me catch this comment right here by Darren Bowman. It says, BMT, he may be right. I watched another YouTuber who speaks fluent Spanish. He said he caught two Latinas talking smack about the brother. They said that they don't like black men and were ugly. So those two Latinas speak for all the Latinas in Colombia?
I don't
know.
I've heard multiple accounts of stories where black men who've lived there said, hey, a lot of the white Latinas don't really mess with black brothers like that. They said, hey, some brothers are kind of in denial about it, and even my I have another Afro-Latina sister that I talk to. She says, hey, it's hard for her to get a job. It's hard for her to get a job in Medellin. And I think she lives in Bay.
Well, Well, if she's is she Paisa or she's from the coast? Costeña.
She might be from the coast, but yeah, she's the Afro Latina.
Because Paisa's hiring Paisas. Paisa's gonna hire a Paisa.
Yeah, that's facts, man. Yeah, because people
They're
from
not
the
gonna
coast
hire
get
anybody
treated
outside their little tribal group.
Yeah, people get treated different from the coast. I do know that. I mean, I've heard of Afro-Colombians coming, to
I don't think I know what Flex trying to do. Flex don't want no brothers to go down to Colombia. That's what it is. You don't want no brothers to, because I'll be honest with you, bro. Listen, I'll just be straight up frank.
Wait, don't get it twisted, BMT. Like, there's definitely people there, brother. There's good people there. Don't I don't want to get it twisted down. It's just there's two extremes that I think is there. There's very, very nice people there. Don't get me wrong. Very nice, respectful people there. But there's still an undertone that's there that I think a lot of brothers ain't really being real honest about. Because I don't. But
is it because they're gringo though? Like, is it because we're foreigners more so than our? Okay, so I understand what you're saying. They're not really used to seeing
Latin America. We know in Latin America, there's colorism in Latin America because we see it in America.
Right, we're talking about Colombia though. I get Cuba, not Cuba, but Puerto Rico. I get all that shit, but I mean, like I said, I don't speak fluent Spanish, but I've been dating Latinas my entire life. So I've been living in Colombia for a couple of years, dated Dominicans. Like I get what you're saying, but it's just a way you can navigate, man, and still come on top with the bat. Especially like in the Afro Latinas, man. Come on, bro. Like that's a God gift to the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Flex. I mean, you said that it's a lot of white Latinas that don't like dark. I guess you said, what did you say, dark people or what? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I have seen so many Afro-Colombians with white Latinas, bro. I mean, that's just what I've seen. I've seen it in Bogota, I've seen it in Cali, I've seen it in San Andreas. I mean, it's just kind of hard to get around it when you got, like, 30% of your population is black. I mean, just like us, in America. Now, I will say, is there probably some of that stuff going on in Colombia? Maybe, very, very small, but compared to the United States and what's going on, I mean, I would say that percentage is really, really, really low and rare, but it's just my take on it.
So I went to I guess you want like a boxing match / concert, and I did a vlog. I forgot which barrio it is. I forgot the name of the barrio, but it was not far from our apartment. And all I saw was black Afro women with the white, Latino men. That's all I saw. Like I just saw nothing but mix. You know what I'm saying? That's what I saw while I was there. So
where was that?
I think in at least in Colombia. I can't speak for Brazil per se. In the favela, I've seen a little bit of that too, actually. But it's just it's a different type of prejudice, classism. It's definitely different in the States, but it's a mixed bag, man. It's really about who got the bread, who making the money,
exactly.
Who got the swag. I guess you want to say, because when I was in the barrio, bro, it was mixed. I didn't see not one traditional white Latino couple. It was all mixes. Well,
BMT, wouldn't you say that more often than not, you would probably see more mixing in the lower class, but as you go up, right, you're gonna see less and less and less and less and less.
Hold on, yeah, you're right. You might be right. But I want to bring my man James. My man James.
Yeah, what's up, BMT?
What's good, man? I know you got a lot to say about this.
Yeah, I want to jump off. Peace, thanks, BMT.
Oh, okay. All right, peace.
Hey, Punch.
And appreciate the uploads on the app too, by the way, bro.
Thanks. Peace out, fellas.
All right, peace. What'd you say, Will?
No, I was just, giving my man some props and saluting him and everything like that.
Okay. James, what's good, man?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Colorism is the main problem. What's going on, James?
Yeah, colorism is the main problem, because if you really think about it, when you hear black folks say, you talk white, you look like you think you better than me, all the crazy shit that come out our mouth. You know, if you light skin, that means the white folks like you better. All that shit right there ties into the fact that we divided. And one of the greatest weapons that white folks who hate us are using against us is other black folks. All right. The craziest stuff you hear coming out of media comes from the Brandon Tatums, the Candace Owens, and all the little bridge people. I mean, you see it all over the place. They're popping up all over YouTube. They chasing that money, or they want to roll with the white. Look at the Hodge twins. The Hodge twins, I think they're going to end up in therapy. And that's the honest to God truth. I mean, they literally, they jumped over it. You know how they say never go full retard, playing around like that?
James, brother James, you know, we're talking about the international scene more so than what's going on in the States.
Yeah,
States is fucked up.
Yeah, of course. Let me tell you something about the national aspect. All right. So when you get brothers who go overseas, you're limited to where you can go, you can hang out and enjoy yourself. So you might end up going to places where they're literally looking for white folks. What event, what bar and everything. That's some of the things that you don't realize. And you go there, and then you go to another places in the vicinity and you come back saying, oh man, they don't like us out there. Women know where we congregate, and they will make sure they are where we are so they can get us. If you go to I'm in Germany right now. German women know where we congregate, and they will go there seeking us out. So if you go to a place where they're not seeking us out, you're gonna end up in a bad situation. Or sometimes brothers are so on point that they will enjoy themselves with that. Now, when you say, you know, you got brothers going over there, talking, going to people's jobs and talking to Latinas and saying, hey, how much and everything, and you say, man, that hurts us, man. Of course they're gonna be like, well, if a white dude did it, would it hurt white dudes? No. Why?
Hold on, James. I want to address what Flex said. He said he was never denied entry, but I have noticed certain unwanted vibes. So, Flex, he was not denied entry into Provenza.
Oh, okay. Well, if he said that he wasn't denied, then okay, my bad on that. But I thought he said something like that. He was not allowed in. But yeah.
Okay.
Hey James, what part of Germany are you in?
Right now I'm in Stuttgart, and there's two bars. Yeah. There's two bars out here where they literally would not let me in, and I know it's because I was black. Even the cops said yeah, and they said there's nothing they can do about it. So Germany is losing their hold on keeping racism out of the country. They're starting to fall apart. They're going to end up like England. England is cooked. Australia and England are absolutely cooked. 100% cooked.
Yeah, I used to go to Stuttgart all the time, Patch Barracks.
So, Jamie,
I'm sorry. Did I say Stuttgart? I didn't mean Stuttgart. I meant Dusseldorf.
Will?
I meant to say Dusseldorf. I'm in Dusseldorf. Now, I was in Stuttgart. I hated it, but I'm in Dusseldorf. I screwed that up.
Yeah, he kind of because he was, you know, James is saying that it's still pretty prejudiced out there, and you were saying earlier that, you know, they have been more progressive.
Well, like now where he's talking about, so let's talk about that. I'm glad he brought that up. So Germany is broken down in three different regions. You got High German, Mid German, which is Hessen. You're in the northern part, Dusseldorf. Then you got the southern part, which is Bavaria. So it depends on when you're up in the high area. There's not very many Americans in that area, and so they don't have the same, what you say, luxuries of knowing that many Americans, because there wasn't that many bases that you know located that far north. So that's the reason why I know that was going on. I do know that does go on in some parts of the country, but it also depends on where you're at. But you are right. When the German women know where you're at, that's where they're going to go. I mean, that's like that no matter anywhere around the country of Germany.
The world, anywhere around the world.
But I was just speaking for Germany at that point.
True. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you were in Germany, Will?
So the last time I was in Germany was in 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
The entire planet has been flipped over and completely changed. Every square inch of the planet has been completely changed since 2019 because of COVID. BMT, all of y'all, Flex, I know everyone who's traveled can attest to that. If you've been traveling since 2017, 2016, it's completely changed, especially places that we really congregate, like Brazil, Colombia, and Thailand. Well, I mean, think about all the stuff that we're hearing about, the negative things, especially coming out of Thailand with the STDs, and it is bad. So everything is very much
like number 5.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty high. I want to just comment. Jay Rash, my man, said many guys from the States take their USA mindset abroad and look for colorism / racism everywhere instead of enjoying the moments. What you guys say to that, James?
I've heard. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I got too much to say.
Go ahead, Flex.
I think a lot of brothers are really delusional and they're really not aware of their surroundings. You know, a lot of brothers, okay, you want to go and party, have a good time. A lot of people aren't really they're not really aware of what's really going on around them, like how people like their other people's energies and how it shifts. They you know, they're getting lit, they're trying to get lit, they're looking for a pro, they're trying to have fun, so they're gonna overlook certain things, but that doesn't mean it's not there. You see what I'm saying? So
I'm glad I let you cook, because you cleaned up a little bit of what I had to say, because I got too much to say on that. BMT knows that. That's why he said what he said when I came in.
One more thing real quick.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry, brother. I have not seen a lot of black brothers with really gorgeous, beautiful white Latinas that are not pros. I haven't seen it. So
in Colombia,
in Medellin,
that's what I'm saying. In Colombia, I'm pretty
Colombia
sure
as a whole, I haven't seen it. So
if I listen to this right now, he done fell out of his seat because he begs a different man. I think what you call it. Zoom to Thailand said he saw brothers with bad girls too. And he said that he was getting love and he felt the energy out there, because you have to understand.
I mean, I've seen me personally. I've seen it. I've seen guys with beautiful.
We're not talking about light-skinned brothers. We're taking light-skinned brothers outside of the equation, because that's still a difference.
But it seems like you keep referring to the white. Like what's your version of a white Latina? Because they all looked a little mixed to me personally.
I like the brown
really see them. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really see them as being white. I mean, some of them white complected. I know I dated mostly Afro Latinos though. So
we know who the white are.
Let me say this one real fast. I think you crazy if you go all the way to Colombia looking for a white Latina. Why would you do that? Don't y'all like the brown ones better? What's up? Right?
I mean, hey, your preference is your preference, bro. You know, because
that's true. That's true. I ain't got no argument there. But damn,
the hottest black women are in Colombia.
They're looking for the white
and Brazil, hands down.
Yeah.
What you say about Brazil? You say about Brazil?
Yeah, some of the hottest black sisters are in Brazil and Colombia, in my opinion.
Oh, facts.
You need to come. Need to go to Kenya, bro. But that's all right.
You know what? So I talked about that yesterday with a friend of mine. We was like, you know what? I think North and South America got it in concerns of the baddest black women. I think North and South America got it. And he was just in Kenya. And he was just like, yeah, you ain't gonna find nothing like that in you know what I mean? Like I don't want to get cut off.
It depends, BMT. I mean, I won't argue with someone saying that if they've never been to Africa, because I'm pretty sure you saw something in Brazil that was like, oh my God, wow, can't nothing get with that coming out of America. You went throughout America and you go to Brazil and you see something like that and you go, you can't believe it. And then because of the lack of representation you saw out of Africa, all the countries, you'll probably think that. And I'll say, I ain't no argument. Just go to Africa. Where should I go? I don't know. I'll go to Kenya because I've been to Kenya. Go to South Africa, whatever. And then let's see what you got to say. You know, we know people who've been to both, and a lot of them attest to say, I saw something in Brazil. I saw something in Africa. They got more love for me in Africa, so I like Africa better.
I don't see anything better than Brazil, bro, to be honest with you. From what I've seen, it's just too much exoticness in Brazil. Outside of maybe some Blasians or something like that. But let me show out my man Daryl with the is that Qatar? What currency that is, brother? Anybody know what currency that is? 25 yeah, don't nobody even chat even though. That's
Well,
Qatar.
if it was Qatar, it would be dinars, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be dinars?
Yeah, so it's a little more, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not hip up.
You gotta love this passport, bro. Shit, we out there, bro. We don't even be knowing what currency we be showing that. He says,
"Hey, BMT, man, I got an app coming, man. I got an app coming. You gonna make some money with me? You gonna make some money with me? Your app gonna make money with me?"
Okay, we'll talk about it. How are you all treated in Central or Southeast Asia versus Europe or Latin America? I was good to go in Tajikistan, but got treated like ish in Egypt and Italy. I would say I'm treated pretty well here.
That's not South Asia or South America.
Yeah,
but everyone has bad experiences in Egypt. Egypt and Italy are crap, man. If you're gonna go to that part of the region, you don't go to Italy, you go to Spain. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna spend your money in that region, you don't go to Italy, you go to Spain. Huh?
What's wrong with Italy?
Too racist.
They're racist as fuck. Fuck, racist as fuck. It's the only country other than Turkey, I would say it is a fucking racist country. Every other place where you got some.
Damn, so my mafia guys be on some prejudice bullshit. That's messed up, man.
Man, look, don't get me started with Italy. Don't get me started with Turkey. Those are the two countries where I say if we went to war with them along with the mainland China, I would bring out the American flag so fucking fast it'll make your goddamn head spin.
And they fight us, BMT. Italy and Turkey, they'll swing on you. Italy faster, way faster than Turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey would tolerate you as long as you don't talk to the hot women.
You ain't lying about Turkey. You ain't lying about Turkey, man.
Hey, let me tell you.
I've heard so many mixed things about Turkey, bro. I don't know.
No, let me tell you something about Turkish motherfuckers. When I lived in Germany,
hey, speak up a little. Respect.
I lived 1 year in Bayern, Bavaria, right? And as xenophobic as that place is, it wasn't nowhere nearly as racist as it wasn't racist. It was xenophobic. They wanted to stick with their own, but they didn't treat me bad, right? All right, so whatever. That's Bavaria, right? Munich, Nuremberg, whatever. I moved 1 year in the Midlands around Frankfurt, that area. It's a bit more open-minded because you got a lot of people from around the world. I did not receive any bad treatment from white Germans, but you know who I got bad treatment from? Goddamn Turkish Germans.
You got bad treatment from the Turkish in Frankfurt? I love Frankfurt.
Dude, bro, Frankfurt's okay, but it was just the fucking Turks. Everyone else was cool.
They treated me so good.
Turn up a little bit, brother. You gotta give a little.
Let them speak. I don't know.
It's funny enough.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, you're cool. You're cool. Go ahead.
I was going to say this. One of the things I was being told by a lot of Turkish brothers, they were leaning on me. They felt more comfortable with me. And what they were telling me about is the German women absolutely hate Turkish dudes. And that's true. I've been told that all over Germany. All over Germany. Frankfurt is my favorite. It is better than Dusseldorf. I've been in Dusseldorf long enough to say Frankfurt is better than Dusseldorf. A lot of people were saying Dusseldorf is better. And that goes into what we were talking about. It's how people come, how people show up. You got to ask them how they showed up. And I'm going to get more into that. But they were telling me that the German women hate them. And they felt like if they hang out with me, they would probably get better attention. And I was actually, these Turkish dudes I was hanging out with, they was getting, more positive attention when the people in the bars was finding out I was an American dude. And it made them feel more approachable. It made them more approachable from the German women. And they were telling me that. And I was like, what's that about? They said, we have a bad rep here. And I was like, what is it about? He said, Turkish dudes have done a lot of German women very, very, very.
I want you guys to comment on this real quick. This comment. Most countries are a diss to Black Americans. What do y'all think about that?
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear.
Speak English, bro. I can't even. A diss. What's a diss? That's very vague.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. He has to elaborate.
Diss to Black Americans. Most countries are diss Black Americans.
Most countries are too okay. Now,
jealousy.
I know.
Jealousy.
So there's something that's one of the things I know about Black men. Look, if you saw in real time how high the deck is stacked against you as a Black man, you would probably have a heart attack. And that's what he's talking about. Both brothers are oblivious. What that dude said before. Stop worrying about racism. I was like, yeah, because you don't know how high the deck is stacked against you. When you say that right there, if they can buy into whiteness and benefit from it in their head, they're going to come after you, because the number one method that everybody thinks, and I mean everybody thinks of being accepted by white folks, is being racist toward black men. The greatest the product that has been advertised and glorified more than any product in the history of time is the white man face. And the product that has been crapped on and disrespected more than any product in American history is the black man's face. All right. The fact that you on equal ground competing with a white dude to get a girl is laughable. Superman, everything is for them. They have everything, and we have a negative. We have to overcome a mountain so high, you damn near mouse and put a Superman S on your chest when you climb over it. So when you go to another country, they have been programmed since back then. All those images, those cartoons, those Daffy Duck with the black face, all that stuff. Okay, that stuff was over in other countries as well. They went to these countries. They paid these people to say these things and feel this way about black folks, so we can't go over there and team up with them. Bro, they did it in Africa. Why do you think you got Africans come over here and say, I don't like a black? Because they got brainwashed to think that they hate us.
And they bring the racist ones here. All the cool Africans, all the cool Latinos, all the cool Asians, they go to Canada. And let me add something else to that. You know, there's a reason why Europe, the EU, and they're not innocent in this at all. Brussels, there's a reason why they brought all these unassimilatable Muslims to their country instead of African Americans who have proven that they can build civilizations or at the very least coexist in one. You see what goes on here? That's the exact reason. And that's in my opinion. Because quite frankly, if they would have brought us here back when we were getting our ass really kicked in the 60s and the world was able to see it on television, we'd have a whole different outlook in this world. We would be respected. We would be like the small hat people.
You saying Brussels?
Brussels is the capital of the EU. I'm saying the European Union.
All right. So I mean,
Muslims instead of African Americans. That's what I'm saying. That's their mistake, and that's their bad, and they're suffering for it right now. Instead of bringing us in, when we proved ourselves in this country, and we still were getting disrespected, and they bring in some random ass people. Come on, I'm talking geopolitics here, but yeah, that's just my.
Hold on, James. Let Will speak on it.
So no, I've like I said, the only time I've ever been to Brussels is only because, you know, being.
I'm not saying it's not Brussels in particular.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that I guess, you know, when you're in the military, and that's the reason why I'm kind of going with James on this. Sometimes you see things, sometimes you don't see things. So in the military, being that I'm working with NATO, I'm not seeing any of that stuff because I'm working with my counterparts, whether they be from Brussels, whether they be from France, whether they be from Germany or whatever. So I wasn't really dealing with those issues. So this is new to me when I hear this, because like I said, I'm looking from the outside in, and you got more, what you say, boots on the ground than I do. So that's a good thing to know. So no, I mean, there's a lot of things you don't know. And James, back to your deal, when you were talking about, you know, certain women, they don't like, you know, certain blacks. I believe that there is a problem with that in some countries, but I also think that classism is more important to some, because like I said, if you're in a different class, okay, and the thing is, right, when you're in a different class, you don't get to see those same things, okay? Like I said, when you are dealing with people of a higher caliber, people that are in the same, you know, level as you don't tend to deal with those things as normal people do. Just like when I go, like me living in Colombia, I don't go to El Poblado. So because I speak Spanish, I talk to other, Colombians, and they tell me all the good places to go. So when I see those, you know, Afro-Colombians, or I see those white Colombians, I don't have a problem, because the thing is, they look at me totally different because I'm not a part of the same people that are going to El Poblado. So they just look at me different. So it really depends on the classisms and everything like that. There's a lot of rich people that don't even go out in El Poblado. They go to other places.
Well,
if that's true,
good point.
If that is true, how come a lot of brothers aren't able to get with the higher class women in Colombia. Then it should be
They
easy
can.
because there's
They
not that
can.
many.
Yeah, they can.
They can. But you have to live there. You just have to live there and speak Spanish.
Let's talk about this too. Let's be realistic, since he brought that up, right? So when Americans go to Colombia and then they mess with, it's like this. You got quality men that are going to Colombia, and then you got men that are not so quality. And then you get those same men that go down to Colombia and they meet these Colombian women that are not of the same quality. And the thing is, it's like they go down there and they mess with the pay for play. And that's all they know. They mess with the pay for play. They don't know anything outside of that. Okay. And because of that fact, most of the women that are paid for play, they, like I said, man, they ain't got no regular job. But the women that got careers, like your doctors, your lawyers, and stuff like that, those people don't have time to go out. Those are the type of people that I meet. I meet the engineers. I meet the architects. I was, just like I said, the lady who did, no, I mean, this is no BS, bro. The lady who's did the appraisal on my house up in Barranquilla, she started introducing me to other people in that level, because she was like, when they was going through my background, because you got to put all your background stuff on the visa and all this stuff for the investment visa, and she's like, "Oh, I see you used to work in the space program, bro." They just look at you different when you got other credentials. And also, you got to think, man, I used to be an intel officer, so I was briefing different factions of the White House, of Department of Defense. So I got to meet a lot of people around the world. I got to, be in those same circles. And so, like I said, when I had people that was my boss, like Petraeus, or Dirno, I mean, those names that stick out at you. I mean, you just got to realize when you deal with a certain type of people, you attract what you are. That's all I'm gonna say. If you are messing, I put it like this. If you hang around 5 millionaires, you're gonna become a 6 millionaire. If you hang around 6 people that ain't got no sense, you're gonna become the 6th person that ain't, or 7th person that ain't got no sense. It's just all about how you carry yourself. I mean, that's just how I see it. But I'm not putting anybody down. That's just how I'm looking at it.
Well, you guys listen to Andre, right? The brother down in yeah. What does he talk about a lot? I'm gonna sum up what he talks about a lot. A lot of really, the way to sum up what he talks about is like this. You can't expect a brother showing up GQ and a brother showing up Pookie and expect the same outcome. That really sums up all of what Andre talks about. And then he talks about what you need to do to properly leave America, make a life in Colombia, and show up right. He talks about your money, goes into all that, make sure you ain't got no ties. And then he talks about that, and he just talks about brothers who didn't do it right, what happened. And he said, and he said he keeps breaking it down to y'all, like, don't do this, do that. And here's what happened when his brother did that. Why did he do that? What was you thinking? And you were 40? Man, that's what he talks about. That's why I like his show, man. He comes it the same way I come, because he's an old brother, you know what I'm saying? He come from an old school, you know what I'm saying? He kept that mindset, you know what I'm saying? In the 80s and the 90s. He's like, I was paying attention, and so was I. You can't just show up like that. Yeah, shout out to Andre. You can't, you gotta say, you brothers doing it like this. Oh, go ahead.
Shout out my man Osama Abdul with the 5 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. It says salute BMT chat in the panel. Can Clutch and other bros panel talk more about German versus American dating? What are the main differences? Clutch is gone now, man. I think you probably
no. I'm right here.
Clutch, where you at?
No, I'm right here, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I thought a man Punch. You talking about Punch?
Oh, okay.
Which one is Clutch?
Yeah, nah.
Oh, Xantos Clutch. Let's do this though, because we kind of on another topic right now, man. But we'll definitely do a whole show about that as well. But I do appreciate the 5 super chat. I promise I'll get to that show because I don't want to get too far off topic. But I promise you that. What's going on, Ronald? What's good with you?
Hey, what's going on, brothers? How you guys doing? How you doing, BMT?
Hey, we're good, man. What's going on with the colorism overseas, brother?
I mean, let's break this down really, because you said nationality versus colorism. Colorism, I believe, is more about self-hate. When you're talking about nationality, that's more about colonizer programming based on what colonizer race actually conquered that nation, depending on where you are. So you're looking at two different sets of mindsets when you're talking about both of these things. When it affects you overseas, you've still got people that are dyeing their skin, even though they were never colonized. Japan dyes their skin. Why? Because they want to be socially acceptable to white people. You get what I'm saying? And dealing with business. So at the end of the day, the treatment overseas is basically how you carry yourself and how you develop your inner circle of people if you're living overseas on a consistent basis. If you're traveling, it's more about how you dress. Yes, you're going to be judged by the way you look. It's where you're staying, how you carry yourself. All those things matter. Will tell you, James will tell you, we are all prepped before you step into that country. We are prepped on what the temperature of the people are, everything. We go through a briefing. You know, a lot of these guys are going cold turkey into these countries and they're not understanding the culture, how to move around without being offensive. That's a key word. Not being offensive to people when you show up thinking they should be treating you because you're an American like you are in America. You're not in America anymore. Leave that mindset in America. When you step off that plane, you have to conform to some of the rules that are there that might not conform to what you're used to. Oh, well, that's the joys of traveling. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's get down to the colorism thing. Is it really about colorism, or are people just self-hating? And then they're projecting it on you. Like my girl right here, she's considered a morena in the Philippines. She gets treated differently even when I'm with her and how we carry ourselves together than if she's by herself. You know, so that's a thing that's why I said there's programming in this self-hate. It's not just specifically for Black people that are into the colorism thing. There's a lot of nations that have a colorism issue.
Ronan, tell me about India.
And everything else. The more you're on TV, the darker you are, the less you are as far as in that culture and accepted. What did they say in Latin America? Improve the race. They want like
La Raza.
Yeah. So it's just not us. We're more sensitive to it. It's just not us. It's not all us. You know what I mean?
If you go to India, you will see the greatest colorism you ever seen in your life. It's so bad.
We just play the video, yeah. Which is right, the strangest thing is walking past a blue black Indian and they looking at you crazy. I'm just sitting here like, bro. It's like I'm like, bro, you are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like,
hey, I got I got several stories about that because, funny enough, I'm probably the only person in this panel who's actually been to India. And in summary, they are colorist, but in my case, I think I passed the color scale because in my time, damn, not one Indian came up to me disrespectfully. And I was there with a woman, mind you, one of their own. So there's
Congratulations.
Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And I just wanted to say that. But yeah, maybe because I passed the spectrum. I don't know. Maybe because I look happy. I don't know. Maybe because I wasn't dressed up like a baby kid, which that it goes back into the class thing. Class thing is real. You got to make your appearance as if you actually have some class and have some money. And that you really goes a long way around. But
yeah, you have to because you're black. That's what we're talking about. You have to.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you got the backpacker white boys get treated.
Yeah, you see a white dude's getting bad girls grungy style, and now you think, oh, that must be it. You know what I'm saying? That I'm gonna try that grungy style, and then you show up and I know y'all have done it. I know y'all done it, and you got the worst experience you ever had in your life. You can't do what they do because the world around them ain't the same as the world that's around us. Obviously not. Look at what's been put out to hurt us. You think we overcame all that? You have to overcome it on your own. You got to do it. It has to be you. You can't expect like, this is positive right now. I'm hearing about this. This brother had a good experience, so I'm just gonna show up. I'm black and I'm good. Go ahead and do that if you want to. Doesn't work that way, and it never will until we have a hold on media, international media. Until we have a hold on international media, and we're able to overcome bad images. Like if a brother goes out to another country, does an unthinkable with a girl, like others do all the time, and nothing ever happens. And then we're able to overcome it and clean it up. And it doesn't hurt us because all the images that we've been putting out and what we've been doing throughout the world is so positive that when this happens, they'll finally say, no, it's not them. It's him. He's the one that's bad. You know, it's what he did. And let's just get him out of here. Other guys, you know, it's not them. It's not all of them. Okay. It's been happening little sectors throughout the world and everything. But until we can make that happen in the world, we're going to be dealing with this. Everybody can be grungy, but we got to show up, suit and tie, clean cut, $500 or $600 cologne on, beautiful haircut, shaved, clean shaven, talking proper, educated, life, money, check, everything. Coming to the girl and speaking to her like you just stepped down for heaven just to give her a shot. That's game.
Let me add to this real quick. Tell me if I'm wrong. Black men are hated more globally by men, and that's because we're desired by their women. So there's already an envy thing. There's always an envy thing that's going on. They're already scared of the fact that we're carrying a lot heavier load between our legs, if you know what I'm saying. So they're already envious of those certain things as men. You know, while statistically, even if you look at it, we're the second most desired men globally behind white men. So there's a reason for that envy. There's a reason for them setting up those societies like they do. They're fearful of us. And then when you look at the Black American man and the experience and the swag and everything we come with, it's overwhelming for a lot of them. And that's when you start running into those type of situations.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. That's why you got so much stuff going on these social media platforms of them interviewing their women on would you date a black guy? It's like, damn, you know,
stupid.
Like, come on, man.
Stop doing it. Stop doing that.
Hold on. I got you, Xantos. Hold on 1 second. Shout out to my man Daryl with the. Did we find out what the QAR is? I think it's the Qatar, right? He said, I just took a trip to China business class. You can see how I was treated there. Okay, Daryl, we'll check your video out. I'll definitely check your video out.
I love Chinese, and that's crazy because China and India is the worst. And I think Chinese and Indian women could be some of the baddest, man. That's why it hurts. But, man, I would never visit those countries. I would never visit China. I would never visit India.
Yeah, I definitely dated a couple of Indian women. They definitely told me what was up. Go ahead, Xantos. You got something to say, brother?
No, I was going to say, anyone who does those, hey, do you like black men or blah, blah, blah? As far as I'm concerned, they're trying to start a race war. They're no different than Charlie Kirk with his instigating ass about some black this and, yeah, that's all I was going to say.
Yeah, because it almost seems like in some cases they're trying to prove a point. Like, look how lost our women are. You know what I'm saying? They like black guys. Like, we got to fix this type shit. So I don't know, man. It was I could not find this, bro. It was one that was hilarious because it was two white girls. They was in the U.S. somewhere, and it was this white guy, and they was like, "Yeah, we date black guys. Yeah, we like black. I like my chocolate." And the white guy was just like, "Well, what about they kill the most people?" He said some bullshit stat, and they were just like, "Is that true?" He was like, "He said, I don't know. You know, like they be."
He's lucky crazy, I wasn't there. He's lucky I wasn't there with real stats. Real stats.
All right, man. All right.
Y'all know what happened in Australia, right?
Nah, what happened there? What
No.
happened there?
So Ronan can attest to this, and all Navy guys. At one point, it was well known in Australia that as a black man, you go there, the prettiest of the prettiest will be interested in you.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I mean on a massive level. That was the place. Other places too. There was a time when if you show up as a black dude and you decent, you get the baddest of the baddest. Many places over the world. Now,
I think that's like that in Colombia too. Personally, shit, I don't think you gotta go over to Australia.
Back in the days, it was a little different. All right. We
we
know
talking
Navy
about
guys,
dating
especially
or
Navy
just
guys, in
bedroom fun?
this overall, we had it. We had it. We had it. Now you go to Australia, you know, it's like going to Illinois. They don't care.
Oh,
they're not even interested, and you're dealing with racism from them, not just the dudes. Even the women, even the black and half race women and the Aboriginal women who are half race, who are some of the baddest ones out there too. They only care. They only go after white dudes now. They don't even like brothers. They'll tap their friend. No, get away, get away. That's what happens in Australia. Like, how did that happen? Because there was a massive campaign to get it like that. And because we weren't over there to defend it, it was all them. They went in on it. They did it on TV. They was making us look bad. The commercials, that's like the commercial you saw in China, they had commercials like that didn't go worldwide, international. They got them on talk shows. Why do you like black men? And just drilling it into their brain until they just said, till they made it so that not dating black men was like, oh, she's got her head right. You know, oh no, I don't. I'm good. You know, I learned. I'm a decent girl. I'm a good Christian girl. That's what's going on in Australia now. But now it's starting to eat itself. Hopefully, it can continue to do that. But in Australia right now, you go there trying to look for a date, you're going to get a rude awakening. It may be worse than other people experience. However, there are still certain sectors in Australia where it's not affected. But in the main parts, what a lot of people go to, is pretty bad. But yeah,
I think
it's not like that anymore.
My time in Japan was pretty similar. Now, I'm not going to lie. This was post-COVID, so that might have affected some things. But what you said about Australia can be the same about Japan. My visits in Japan before the pandemic, no problem. All you need to do was park up in Tokyo and you were good. My time living in the Tokyo area, yeah, it was basically white boys or K-pop guys, half of whom look like they played for the other side of the team, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
I had to, and I was speaking with a foreigner about this, and I think his theory had some merit to it when he said they saw how popular Western guys of all races were. So as a result, this is China, Korea, Japan, wherever. So as a result, what they did was to federally fund a campaign to make their men look as swagged out as any brother by using what we know now as K-pop. And as a result, along with the negative press that Africans have been getting, because let's just be honest, the Africans in Japan aren't about crap. A lot of them relish in being like drug dealers for the Yakuza or running nightclubs for the Yakuza or just mimicking the worst black stereotypes. Combine those things, and Australia and Japan are basically the same issue, particularly Tokyo. Now, other parts of Japan, they're still chill. They still like black men who are on point. They still treat you more like an American than your skin color. I won't mention those parts because I'm not trying to get those parts ruined. But yeah, James has a point, and the tactic has been used throughout various parts of the world.
Why do you think you see so many Australian actors doing very, very well in Hollywood? Australia made sure that they pushed them. You know, that little guy that always, what's that guy that's always seeing in a movie? He's just a poor guy, you know, he's just nobody, but it turns out he's real good at fighting. He beats up everybody and saves a girl. He's got that receding hairline. What's that guy's name again? And he's got that bad, his wife is bad as hell. What's that guy's name again? Stamos, not Stamos. I think that is him. He played in The Beekeeper.
How about Samus Britain?
The Beekeeper.
Yeah, I thought Samus was Britain.
Yeah, no, he's Australian. He's from Australia.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Australia. And then you
Jason
got the other,
Statham?
and Jason Statham. And you got the other guy. He's from and he played in 300, the 300. And you see that. And then you got what you call the guy who played Thor. That's not. That's not. Yeah, that's not. We're not doing that. And you wonder like,
Idris Elba?
Yeah. Well, Idris Elba. Idris Elba is a blessing to us. All right. He's the best we got in Hollywood right now. All right. Will Smith was for a while until the slap. I still got love for him. I'm not glad he slapped Cook Rock, but I don't want to get into that. I'm glad he slapped him anyway. But that's not something they have the ability to put money into America, to put out positive images of them into America. Okay. Why do you think Hollywood is so Israel? Okay. That's not Gal Gadot is one of the worst actors right now. She's getting paid and she's playing Wonder Woman. They actually literally put her in there. She's an agent of Israel. They know now. That's why you're not going to see much of her anymore. She's an agent. That was done on purpose. They want that. They know what they're doing now. And for all that we were talking about, I'm so glad we got into it. What are we doing to do the similar thing? And if we're not, can we? That's the question. That is the root of all this. All of
this
it.
point, at this point, bro,
do y'all?
I hate to say it, but because that can go to a whole nother show. But at this point,
I know.
We will almost need to find a section of land or island somewhere and just start from scratch. I want to say, because the way the United States work is like the empire basically, and whatever corporates or oligarchies have the most wealth at the time has the biggest influence on the military and geopolitics. So when they burnt down those Black Wall Streets back in the day, that was for a specific reason. It just wasn't because it was a so-called race riot. They did not want us to participate in the economic social order of the United States, so we wouldn't have any political power. So unless we get some type of resource that we can kind of industrialize or protect ourselves or something like that, it's going to be hard to have any type of real power in the United States. We would literally have to, I don't know, collaborate with maybe a West African country or something and safeguard a resource or manufacture something that America needs, uranium, rubber, and then we can kind of hold that, as some type of leverage. But outside of that, that's where it would start at. That's where it would start. I know that's a whole, I don't want to get too complicated because the guys are just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, bro, it's a lot. Like I said, we might have to just go to Cambodia somewhere and start from scratch if you really want to be frank right now. Because
to tell you the truth, besides for the laws, man, the only thing as a black man, in order for you to thrive, you basically control your own destiny. You got to start your own business. You need to be an entrepreneur. You need to get outside of corporate America. Okay, stop trading your dreams for a fucking paycheck, because that's what your time and your dreams, because you're building somebody else's dreams when you take that paycheck. And do you realize I've been in executive management. When we hire somebody, we're going to give you a 6-figure salary. Guess what? We're already projecting out you're going to bring in either high 6 figures or multiple millions of dollars in order to get that 6-figure salary based on the job that you're bringing in. We sell off the labor that you bring in based on your knowledge. But guess what? It's your knowledge. You can go anywhere in the world with that knowledge and still benefit off of it. Only thing they can do is pay you to take advantage of what you fucking know.
Facts.
So what I try to teach brothers is take what you know from corporations and turn that into your own business. Stop selling yourself off, because that's what you're doing. Selling yourself off cheap.
That's a good point.
Do y'all brothers think that the migrant crisis and immigration has an effect on the brother's image?
What? How?
I could barely hear you, brother.
Maybe.
What was the last part?
Yeah. Do you think
Just say
the migrant crisis and immigration had an effect on brothers' images?
Why would that have an effect on our image?
Maybe in Europe. I think in Europe they had a.
You talking about the vendors and sellers like that? Oh, you talking about the Africans, basically?
No.
Yeah.
They know. They can tell us.
UK.
They could tell us apart pretty easily.
Not in all cases.
Yeah, because we're not. Because we're not selling any product.
Yeah.
We don't have anything in our head. Like we're not selling.
We never show up like Africans.
We
even when we're ignorant, we don't show up like. They try to show up like us, and it's actually funny in Germany. The German women to tell you that a lot of the Africans try to pretend to be us, and they say they see it like that. They talk about it all the time.
So you know what's funny, man. So Ion Mara, he's really popular. He was in the original Passport Bros Facebook group because we had to kick him out because he was always talking shit. And I'm just sitting here like, Ion Mara, I was watching your video in Colombia, and you was telling Colombian women in Medellin that you was Black American. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but you talking shit about Black Americans, so you always had something to say. So I don't know.
No one's gonna believe him. The Black American.
I mean, this was back earlier. No. This was probably before COVID. They was believing him. But guys, it's been a minute. I know we got a great show, man. It's been a couple of hours. I gotta get up out of here, man. So no closing statements today. But don't worry, I'm gonna start going live every night, man. Chop it up. I'm gonna do an interview in the daytime, and then come back and do a live so we can all chop it up. We have good conversations, and I appreciate everybody on the panel. I'm gonna go ahead and get on up out of here, man. Peace.
Hey, check your WhatsApp, bro.
I got you.